Alright, today we're going to learn about 3.5D quadratic transformations. What does the a do in the quadratic function? So the a is in charge of the width, and when it's in charge of the width, it can make it more narrow. So if it's more narrow, your a value has to be greater than 1. The width is also in charge if it wants to be wider. If it's wider, it's going to be a fraction. Your a value is also in charge of the direction. Alright. A change to the vertex will shift the entire parabola to the left or right, so that's your x value up or down with your y value. So we're going to write an equation of the quadratic function that is narrower and is translated to the right 3 units and down 5 units. So we're going to start off with our original. And your original a value is 1, and your vertex for the original is 2, 3. So when we do our translated one, we now want our a value to be more narrow. So your a value has to be bigger than 1, so we can just pick 2. And now for your vertex, it's translated to the right 3. So you're going to take 2 and you're going to add 3 to it. And it's down 5 units. So with your 3, you're going to subtract 5. This will get you to 5, negative 2. So your new vertex would be 5, negative 2. And how you would write that equation would just be y equals 2, then your parentheses, x minus 5 squared minus 2. Another equation. So we have it's wider and is translated left 3 and up 4. So for our original, our a value is still 1, and our vertex is 1, 2. All right, for our translated, our a value has to be wider. So if it's wider than 1, it has to be a fraction, so it has to be half. Or you could pick any other number, but we're just going to use half. And your vertex is translated left 3 and up 4. So for this, you're going to take your 1 minus 3 and your 2 plus 4. This will get you to negative 2 and 6. So your new vertex is now negative 2, 6. And to write that, you're just going to use y equals 1/2, your parentheses, x minus 2 squared, and then plus 6. Another one is write the equation that is opening in the opposite direction, is narrower, and is translated left 3 and up 5. So we're going to have our original again. Our a value for our original is still 1, and our vertex is now 4, negative 2. So when we do our translated, it has to be opening in the opposite direction and more narrow. So if it's opening in the opposite direction, it has to be a negative. And if it's more narrow, it has to be bigger than 1, so we can use negative 2 for our a value. And for our vertex, we are now going left 3 units and up 5. So under your 4, you're going to subtract 3, and under your 2, you're going to add 5. That will get you to 1 and 3. So your new vertex is going to be 1, 3. And when you write that, it's just going to be y equals negative 2, your parentheses, x minus 1 squared plus 3. All right, our last problem here So we want to write a quadratic function that opens in the opposite direction and is wider, translated left 3 units and down 5. So we're going to have our original again. So our A value is -2, and our vertex is 2, 3. So for our translated one, we need to have it open in the opposite direction and wider. So if it opens in the opposite direction, it's going to be positive, and our A value has to be wider than, or has to be less than 2. So this can make it, we can make it +1. Our vertex is going to be left 3 units and down 5. So under our 2, we're going to subtract 3, and under our 5, we're going to under our 3, we're going to subtract 5. This will get us to -1 and -2. Our vertex then is -1 and -2. And when we write our equation, it's just going to be y equals 1, your parentheses, x plus 1 squared minus 2.